perfect digital hub for modern audiophiles and digital music playback. Hello everyone, welcome to Tabama Hi-Fi Review channel. Today I would like to share my long-term experience and deep dive into this Eversolo Z10 DAC with Purist design in mind, meaning they design dedicated to using two-channel stereo setup with perfectly executed digital hub that you can connect a bunch of components. Z10 come with ARC, AARC, I2S, USB, 2 coaxial, 2 optical, Bluetooth, all the features that you can use, as well as Eversolo control app that you can control this Z10 from through the app based on Bluetooth connection, which works wonderfully as I connect it here. It's just simple and just go on, allow the look for the devices in your network, and it will totally discover that and connect it very easily. You can control inputs, outputs from the app, as well as it comes with fully functional remote control. Most of the basic features you can control from remote control, including changing the display or display like you want to go with VU meter or digital inputs and everything that you can go through, so that you can do it from remote control as well, which is very nicely done. Enclosure design of this Z10 is similar design structure as other Eversolo products, but Z10 is fully upgraded internally as well as display, which is upgraded to 8.8-inch display. Very nice and crisp display, probably best display that they have ever used in their products. Internally, they are featuring Eversolo fully isolated architecture. So that is the design and major design improvements over other DACs. Totally isolated power supply section, dedicated power supplies for each section, 2 for digital stages and 1 for analog stage. Digital stage is dual mono design using AKN 4191 modulator chip with AKN 4499EX digital to analog converter chips in combination. So it sits on both sides and dual mono layout. Analog stage of this Z10 is isolated as well with fully balanced design featuring R2 resistor network volume control to fully optimize balanced design end to end. The analog stage offers 10 dB gain whether you're using internet DAC or you are using external analog input. That is a great benefit of it. The pre-output stages, based on my testing with different power amplifiers, it appears to be around 100 ohm impedance outputs plus that 10 dB gain. So it's very easy to pair with many power amplifiers or power speakers. Digital stage of Z10 is featuring Eversolo oven temperature control crystal oscillator along with FPGA chip to control the noise and jitter in conjunction with AKN 4191 EQ modulator chips before it get to 4499EX chips on each channel. So that is highly beneficial in reducing the noise and jitter, which totally shows it when you're listening your music. Background noise control, clarity, detail, and clear background that totally noticeable. Z10 come with good quality headphone stage, which can put out 1000 milliwatt of power output at 16 ohm or 32 ohm low. Auto detection gain level adjustment that it offer, like the Luxin X9 kind of feature. As soon as you plug in your headphones, it will automatically detect it and adjust the gain accordingly based on impedance of your headphones, which is very smart and nice features that come with it. When I try headphone stage, I try with my Variant 1 planar magnetic headphones, and it sounds revealing, rich tone with good quality bass that it can drive. Variant 1 headphones, so which is nice to have in all-in-one component along with DAC and pre-stage combination. A bunch of features that come with this Z10. Many visual effects that you can change, color of the knob, display type and everything, and VU meter, etc. Also feature that blue meters, which is, and I'm not a big fan of those. Probably those big blue meters guys will be very happy. So overall design and features is very nice. Z10 offer phase selection for XLR pin number 2, whether you want to use in reverse polarity or standard. That is very useful features. Only thing that lacking is they don't have that phase selector option on remote control. So that's probably they can program it later, so that will be very nice and visually appealing design. But this Z10 doesn't have any tone control or PEQ or EQ setting. It only comes with AKM standard 6 different type of filter option. I just use standard filter as it came from the factory, using it with this S1EX towers and Audiophiles E4000, as well as MusicShare X30, Sony HAP-Z1 ES music server, as well as Eversolo T8, Gusted Audio S26. I tried 3 different music servers and streamers in this review. Also tried 3 different amplification. I started using this Z10 at my streaming setup, pairing it with SMS at PA400 gallium nitride Class D amplifier, using this Z10 as a pre-stage. Also subwoofer is connected to this Z10 from that stock sound SW15. I watch a few movies and I try a few concerts and it works out great, right? And that added 10 dB gain of analog stage is highly beneficial. Another thing that worth mentioning is this Z10 can be absolutely revealing. So when I was using that gallium nitride PA400 amplifier with the CSS Audio 2 DDX towers, the way that it transformed with that PA400 and this Z10 combination is totally flipped the sound quality of that 2 DDX towers, totally revealing almost too neutral kind of sound, pairing it with that gallium nitride amplifier. So I was like, wow, this is like total transformation in sound signature of those 2 DDX speakers, pairing it with Class D amp. So that was a great experience. I was like, wow, these speakers can be this much revealing sound. And then I moved it over here. I started listening with Audiophiles E4000 and these towers. So overall sound signature is clean, transparent sound with very wide soundscape. And depth is pretty nice. It's not to the level of the Divinity R2 or NOS DAC like depth, but pretty close to it. Width is comparable. Stereo image is precise with very good resolution. So listening this Eversolo Z10 with this Audiophiles E4000 ASD silver XLR cables connected to Audiophiles E4000 from this Z10, I was using Gusted Audio S26 with Roon playback system, and sound is very revealing sound yet rich tonality to it. A little bit of warmish tint on mid-range to upper mid-range area. Resolution is probably one of the most detailed sounding DAC that you can have. Somewhat reminds me of some like Gusted Audio A26 kind of sound as well. And balance of sound is rich side of tonality yet neutral sound. Voices and vocals are accurately produced. Vocals stereo image is a foot or two taller than what I'm used to be, almost to the ceiling kind of sound that it offers, so which is surprising but not complaining. It makes it like you are listening to concert and live performance kind of presentation in sound quality and actual sound staging and everything that it can offer. Micro details and all the nuances and everything is probably one of the best. When I was listening to Diana Krall, No Moon at All, right? She was singing close mic performance and we can hear all the mouth movement and tongue movement inside her mouth. Those kind of tiny nuances are re-delivered in some extent a little bit annoyed by it. So that kind of revealing sound. But overall tonality is enjoyable. Rich and deep bass quality, accurate mid-range with very nice high frequency extension. It's not gonna be totally airy sound, but it has nice amount of air and space in upper range of frequency. Good articulation and bass quality is very nice sound that we can enjoy all day long. If you look inside this Eversolo Z10, it totally reminds me of Hifi-Rose RD160. Basically, $6,000 for RD160 is you are paying the custom OLED display. So that's how I will put it. Sound is going to be always subjective, but overall, architecture, design theory, isolation has a lot of similarities to it. Comparable quality, competing directly with RD160 in features and functions and everything that it can offer. As far as the DAC performance goes, this is one of the best Delta Sigma DAC that money can buy. Purist modern preamplifier stage with built-in top-of-the-line DAC inside. Sound quality is going to be totally dependent on your system and pairing components. As far as the component and ability of this Z10 is, top-of-the-line performance, top-of-the-line noise control. Total harmonic distortion is, I think, 0.00008. So 50, if I remember it right. So that kind of crazy state-of-the-art noise control and harmonic distortion, and dynamic range is 130 dB, so which is very good. I also tested this Z10 as a dedicated pre-stage, feeding analog signal from this Galubito Divinity R2R DAC ASD XLR cable to this Z10, playing with this X30 from Musicshare tube amp as a power amp, using this JBL or this S1EX towers. Sound quality, I mean, don't look any further if you are in need of good quality DAC with quality analog section. Think of it as this. Let's say if you split the internet DAC section, right? If they sell it individually, it's going to be $800 to $1,000 DACs pretty much, right? You are getting dual mono design. That is total $2,000 retail volume. Then excluding analog section and those beautiful screen and all the features. So analog section, you give it another $1,000 to $1,500 for that combination, right? If you break it down that way, this Z10 is bargain basement price under $2,000 pretty much. That's how I will put it, because you will find $1,000 DAC on each side. That's how they are designed together. And then many DACs in $1,000 range, they don't have totally isolated design like this Z10 is offering. So under $2,000, I think this is no-brainer if you are in for digital hub with quality analog pre-stage. Pre-stage and R2R volume control is highlight of this Z10, which totally void the need of other pre-stage unless you have other preferences As far as analog stage goes, this Z10 analog section is among the best in terms of noise control, balance, design, then the way that they isolated everything to give you best sonic quality. I kind of prefer sound quality of USB input over I2S input. So that is, I think, more to do with the Exmos. It's like a more neutral and rich tone to it with very nice sound quality. And all the digital inputs are isolated as well, so which is highly beneficial. When I'm using the USB, I was connecting USB A to B cable from Sony HAP-Z1ES. The sound quality is totally enjoyable. Then I switch it over to Eversolo T8, connecting with I2S cable. Sound is still very good sound, slightly more neutral and a bit on colder or a little bit too neutral kind of sound, but not too bad either, just slight differences between USB and I2S. So if I use this Z10, I will be using primarily the USB input or SPDIF inputs in general. Right, that is my take. Other people may have different opinions. As far as music goes, it will work well with any type of music. I listen to a bunch of music and I am a big fan of such as Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, Guns N' Roses, Pink Floyd or Eva Cassidy or Fleetwood Mac, Diana Krall. It works wonderfully well. Total high fidelity sound in one component. Perfect digital section with highest quality possible analog section for the price that they are offering. Another thing I like to mention is the gain level, right? When I'm using this Z10 as a DAC, I don't like to use it at the gain level of maximum, which is 0 dB. So I prefer sound quality of minus 6 dB. It has better resolution and better refined notes with my system. So that is a few things that I like to mention. Overall performance, this is one of the best one. It can totally rival to the RD160 and it competes directly to it. When I tried this Z10 and Galubido Divinity R2 are NOS DAC back to back, pairing it with Audiophiles E4000 ASD Silver XLR cables connected to both of them. I'm just using input selector on Audiophiles E4000, and first thing I notice is gain is different, about 4 dB different between Z10 and Divinity DAC. Z10 is about 4 dB louder. So that's the one thing that I like to remind you, but I match it accordingly. Galubido Divinity offer organic and rich tone with nice body in the overall sound as well as depth it. But Eversolo Z10 is revealing sound with rich tone to it. Only comes down to your preference and your system, which sound you are going after. You want total resolution and reference grade resolution that you want to enjoy, or you also get rich tone that you can listen for hours and hours. When I'm using this Z10 analog input with this Divinity R2 or DAC, it totally offers the Divinity NOS DAC R2 or sound quality, rich and deep, more organic feeling sound quality. And also I like to retrace the I2S sound quality compared to USB. So I2S sound quality, whether I'm using Eversolo T8 or Gusted Audio S26, I2S sound quality is a little more digital compared to USB or other SPDIF inputs. That's what I like to mention. If you are using different music servers such as Z10 Audio S26, this Eversolo offer a bunch of I2S options to choose, but you can connect Z10 Audio G port directly to Z10 I2S port and it works flawlessly. Eversolo Z10 is for modern Purist audiophiles that can use a bunch of digital components as well as utilizing high quality analog stage to get the best sound quality out of the Z10. So if you are in the market for shopping for, let's say, Z10 and comparing it to RD160, it's all your money, but if I were you, I would totally swing to this Z10 for price, sound quality, features, and performance that it can offer. Totally, wholeheartedly recommended, my friend. Thank you for watching and happy listening.
Come into my solitude, though I weary be. Come into my tenderness, dream along with me. Listen to the whispers sing, listen to the singer shout. Come into my solitude, be my big mouth. Thoughts unspoken, thoughts unsaid, lies of hearth and home. Children broken on the bed and left to lie alone. Things you talk around, scum you choke on down. Come into my solitude, step on sacred ground. We were speaking of values and violence, breaking silence. Fathers who are lovers to the daughters that they own. Mothers who don't leave a child a single safety zone. People so unhinged that death is much too kind. Come into my solitude, step over that line. Thought it was the only one. Thought it was the only. Thought it was the only one. Speaking of values and violence, breaking silence. Come to my solitude, welcome to the wheel. Come into this wonderland of wounds that will not heal. Walls that do not speak, steps that do not sound. Come into my solitude, burn this building down. Come into my solitude, though I weary be. Come into my tenderness, dream along with me. Listen to the whispers sing, listen to the singer shout. Come into my solitude, be my big mouth. Thoughts unspoken, thoughts unsaid, lies of hearth and home. Children broken on the bed and left to lie alone. Things you talk around, scum you choke on down. Come into my solitude, step on sacred ground. Letters and violence, breaking silence. Fathers who are lovers to the daughters that they own. Mothers who don't leave a child a single safety zone. People so unhinged that death is much too kind. And into my solitude, step over that line. Thought it was the only one. Thought it was the only. Thought it was the only one. Speaking of values and violence, breaking silence. Coming to my solitude, welcome to the wheel. Coming to this wonderland of wounds that will not heal. Walls that do not speak, steps that do not sound. Coming to my solitude, burn this building.